Hey, welcome back to our Gothtober Marathon here on GothCast. I'm Dr. Sanders, and don't you wish that Goths had their own sort of holiday stop-motion classic? And no, don't say any of the Tim Burton films. No, not even for Christmas, not Coraline. No, okay, well, alright. So don't you wish you had a stop-motion film like the Rudolph films? Classic one that's old, one that has a kind of quaint sort of charm to it. Well, I have that sort of stop motion film for you today, and yeah, it's got a little bit of problems, but what I'm going to talk about is Mad Monster Party, made by Rankin and Bass in 1967. Now, Rankin and Bass, they released all those Rudolph and Santa Claus specials from the 60s, and I know a lot of people watch those every single year, but Mad Monster Party has sort of fallen by the wayside, and only in the last probably decade or so have people really started to kind of notice it and appreciate it for how much of a unique thing that it is. I mean, it's a Halloween special, and it's pretty much the only one that was produced that way at that time, and it's really unique. On the plot, there's Baron Boris von Frankenstein. He has created basically the nuclear bomb. He basically can create something that destroys this giant area. So basically he has harnessed this destructive power, and he invites all these classic monsters to his Isle of Evil. And you have the Invisible Man, you have Mummy, you have the Hunchback, which is a little strange, you have Frankenstein and his wife. So you basically have all these monsters going to this island, and you also have his nephew Felix, who's a very nerdy 60s guy, and he gonna talk like this, kind of talks like Jimmy Stewart, in a way. He's trying to find out who he's gonna share this power with and everything. Frankenstein is, and there's his very shapely assistant Francesca, who kind of is helping him decide and basically trying to stop all these monsters from taking advantage of this sort of situation. And it goes from there. Yeah, his nephew is the human who's oblivious to everyone being a monster. Sort of strange for the time. But one of the things that makes it so interesting is the stop motion is, it's pretty advanced for the time. You gotta remember that this was a time before you could really even check film when you were filming stop motion. You basically have to film an entire scene in one go. So you'd have to be sitting there for 20 hours if a scene required that, with how slow it was, and you couldn't even really check the film until you had it sent off, developed, and then you could take a look at it, see if you bumped a puppet or had a wrong frame or something in that. So it's pretty amazing with this movie they were able to do, dancing skeletons and water effects, which, yeah, are a little cheesy, but these very large puppets, and I will say they have a total charm to them in the way that they look, especially Boris von Frankenstein, who is voiced by Boris Karloff. And Boris Karloff was obviously famous for starring in a lot of Universal horror movies, and it actually looks like him. Not only is the puppet voiced by him, but it actually looks like him. And for those of you who know who Phyllis Diller is, I know that Phyllis Diller isn't really like a big name nowadays, but who plays Frankenstein's wife, that looks a lot like Phyllis Diller, and I think that's really cool being a fan of her. I will say that the charm of the old stop motion films is the jerkiness of them, that they're not perfect, like a lot of the ones that come out now. If you've seen a lot of Leica's new films like Kubo or Coraline, they have very smooth movements in a way, compared to the older stop motion things. And with these ones, they are very, very jerky, but it has that certain charm to it. But I will say, the biggest problem with this movie is that it's pretty dated in a little bit of a negative way for me. The songs just don't have the catchiness of a lot of the Christmas songs from the other specials, and not having grown up with this special, because it was largely unavailable for a lot of years, and even the prints that were out there on VHS weren't very good, I just find that this is kind of lacking a little bit of that thing to sort of draw you in. It feels really long, a little stilted, and the songs just kind of, they do have like the old sort of rock and roll vibe, and they are good songs, but they're not as good as the songs from some of their other specials. And I do want to say something about this movie. And I'm gonna say spoilers right here. You know, spoilers, big spoilers. Okay, if you want to watch this movie and you don't want the ending spoiled, then leave or pause it. Watch it some other time after you watch it. In this movie, basically everyone dies at the end, and it's really kind of this, like, if it's supposed to be a kids movie, it's a really downer ending for a Halloween special for kids. And I mean, I'm not, you know, it's kind of surprising, I will say. And then the other thing about the ending is that the characters are revealed to not really be human. So only two surviving, basically all the living people die, and then these two people who are alive are like robots. And yeah, I don't know how to really recommend this one to you. I mean, you'll either love it or not get it. It's just a really strange film. You know, some people really connect with it. I mean, I like it for the look. I like it for the uniqueness of it, the charm of it. But yeah, it's not one that draws me in every single Halloween because it's so amazing. It's just because it's kind of a really old Halloween special that has some unique things about it. And of course it stars Boris Karloff, so how can you go wrong? Also, there's like a Peter Lorre character. I guess you have to find out for yourself if it's really for you. I just found, for me, sometimes it drags. And I know that not everybody will be completely on board with it. I hope that kind of clears it up. I know it's a little hazy, but just check it out for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and you can like, comment, and subscribe, and stay spooky. Oh, thanks, Robert, for giving me, oh my god, oh my god!
I thought you said monsters.
Yes, monsters, you know.